What is up, everybody? This is Ryan for the Skill Up Show. I have Dave Fink on today, who's the CEO and founder of Postie. Something really cool that Dave did is the company's only been around for 5.5 years, started early, took a little funding early on, and has grown it all the way to a late Series B without ever taking another round of funding again. What? I know, crazy, isn't it? So had to share this with you. Really cool way that he's grown, and his company has a super unique value prop on actually for a legacy business that is huge. It was just massively underserved. So you're not going to want to miss this. Super unique and interesting. Check it out. Welcome everybody to the Scale Up Show. This is your host Ryan Staley, and I have a very special guest with me today. I have Dave Fink. So this is really interesting. Dave's done a lot in his life. He's generated hundreds of millions of dollars in ad revenue, powered by viral sensations like Dollar Shave Club. He's helped launch celebrity startups for Jessica Simpson, Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen, and Kate Bosworth. And now as the founder and CEO of Postie, he's out to reinvent digital mail marketing for a digital world. Dave, what's up, man? Happy to have you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I've been looking forward to this.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, man. Love your history. I didn't even talk to you in the pre-show about all the celebrity name dropping that I just went through. So we were going to have to touch upon that in the show a little bit, man. But before we get too deep in anything, can you give us, we're going to do a real quick revenue rundown. And so can you give us an idea in terms of where you're at in terms of your revenue range?
Yeah, so as we talked about, we'll go hopefully get into the show. We have kind of this unique method for building our company. While we have taken on some venture, that was very early on, and we've been a profitable company pretty much since day one. Keep our numbers close to the vest. So we just selectively do choose not to share revenue numbers, but to give you a sense for company size, I can tell you when I end up engaging with PE or growth stage venture. They're usually shocked when when we can let them into our data room. We're in year 6 of the history of the company. We've grown by between 2.5 and 3x year over year, with the
Nice.
one exception being the COVID year, which we still grew quite a bit, but kind of knocked us off that trajectory. We're gunning down, a pretty big that elusive 9-figure revenue number. So it's a good sized company.
That's awesome.
And about 55 people. Super efficient from a revenue per headcount perspective. Technology first company, so everything we do is thinking about creating efficiency so that people that work here can do a lot with their time and do the good work that people do, and let computers and software do what it does best as well. And so hopefully that gives kind of an idea. We're not a small company, but we have a lot of headspace in front of us.
Yeah, I'd say that's awesome. I mean, 50 people gunning towards 9 figures in revenue. I think that's what I heard you say, correct? Like that's what you're trending towards?
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So what's your primary go-to-market strategy?
So you're catching us at a really interesting time. Up until about a year and a half ago, we spent exactly $0 in marketing, which is pretty goofy. We certainly invested in a very thoughtful, high intellect, talented sales organization, but 100% of our revenue came from either kind of a direct sales effort or word of mouth. And I think we built a good reputation in the market. So, the longer we existed, the more kind of balanced that became. But it's definitely, it historically had been a sales led go to market. About a year and a half ago, we finally started investing in marketing, and it was, I would say, we got to a place where it was a super thin layer of a little bit of everything, right? So we stood up our search, we stood up, some of our performance marketing, like, LinkedIn, very targeted LinkedIn marketing, certainly a bigger content strategy. bigger investment in just internal product marketing, education within the sales and CS organizations, and everything we touched from a marketing perspective led to acceleration. Period. And it was reassuring to see that we have a business that it didn't just take a big investment in a huge sales organization. That marketing and storytelling and awareness, backed up our hypothesis that we had good, strong product market fit and weren't just a good sales organization. Moving into 2022, this is the year where we've been mission driven of migrating from a sales led organization to a marketing led organization. And I don't know. I mean, we'll have to come back on and do a recap and an update in 2 years and see what that balance looks like. But certainly from my perspective, the holy grail is if we could be in control of driving awareness, education, all the things that I would consider like pre-sales leading up to the getting prospect accounts flowing in and educated so that by the time they engage with our sales organization, they're much deeper in the funnel, they're really well educated, and they're looking to talk in terms of specifics and product demo and feature scope. That would be a huge win. And so that is absolutely our mission. We're kind of learning that business as we go. The whole team's on board. I've been very vocal about this transformation over the last 6 months. And certainly everyone from our SDR organization to our marketing organization to our CS and retention organizations, and certainly our frontline, account executives are all excited about it. So it's just an interesting time to be asking that question.
Cool, man. That's really interesting. We're gonna have to dig into that later. So can you walk us through your solution exactly? Because you have a really unique model, and I'd love to just hear a little bit more about it in a couple sentences. Just a quick summary.
Yeah, I mean, high level, we come from the world of digital marketing. Most of the businesses that my co-founder and I, and really the executive team here, had been involved with were kind of ranged between building marketing technology platforms in emerging digital channels, all with kind of a very performance, quantitative, test and optimization focus. And then also spent a lot of time building out direct-to-consumer brands that all got their competitive advantage by understanding how to leverage emerging channels, test optimization, and all the prediction and performance that can come from kind of controlled growth strategy. So, fast forward to about 6 years ago when, Postie was born, we were feeling the pain that most marketers were feeling, where we had so few fail points in our growth, namely social and a bit of search. And we just needed to find that third and fourth, leg to our marketing stool in order to kind of de-risk some of the challenges that come with the big behemoths and kind of hitching our wagons to the Facebooks and Googles of the world. And so for us, we actually looked around for a long time trying to find what that new emerging digital channel was going to be. It was before TikTok existed. It was before Snap had an ads platform. There just wasn't anything big. And so that led us offline. And because, again, we're performance driven, we're quant minded, we want control over the optimization of our media spend. DM direct mail became an interesting channel that we kind of gave ourselves a refresher on. And fast forward to today, we learned that this channel is a monstrous, incredibly scalable channel, very data rich, all of the capabilities to be able to test and optimize, no different than we do on Instagram ads or LinkedIn ads or Facebook or search ads, et cetera, or programmatic for that matter. What was missing was the technology to make it kind of possible to do so dynamically. It's still a very, very manual, labor-intensive, long lead time channel. And so you said in 2 sentences, I apologize, I went down the rabbit hole, but to summarize it, our vision is let's build the ad serving technology layer to empower digital-minded marketers or marketers that expect a lot from the tools powering their marketing channels to be just as excited and capable within the direct mail channel. That's Postie.
Love it. So we're definitely going to dig deeper into that. So, and then are you, we talked about this, I think, in a little bit. You're bootstrapped, 100% bootstrapped right now, correct?
No, no. So we bootstrapped the first 6 to 9 months or so. Got
Okay.
to product market fit. Got to a real revenue run rate. Brought in some. The company really was founded in Los Angeles, and brought in some tier one Los Angeles venture funds that we had worked with for decades on different businesses, and just a great set of investors. Really light. So that's certainly a number we can talk about. We raised $3.5 million. That was in 2017, July, I believe. So right about now. We have not raised another penny of outside capital since. We've run profitably, that was kind of more of a security blanket raise than it was a growth raise. And to be quite honest, at that time, we didn't know we weren't going to raise more capital. We just kind of went into it saying, hey, we have a little bit more risk tolerance now that we have some money in the bank. And that led us probably to lean in a little bit more aggressively, which led to onboarding more customers, building better product faster, and that in turn allowed us to come back out the end of that year profitable again, and just be in a position where we didn't need to or want to raise additional capital. So it wouldn't be fair to say we were bootstrapped, because we did raise an amount of money that I think most companies outside of Silicon Valley or LA would look and say, like, that's real money. But compared to the $30 million, $40 million Series A's that are going on right now, we've been very, very cash efficient.
Oh yeah, I would say so. I mean, definitely, you hear monstrous numbers being thrown out there all the time. So, so let's move forward a little bit. So you mentioned your background was in digital marketing, or in the digital space. You and your co-founder, like, what was the path, I guess, that you took to get here? There's a lot of celebrity experiences that you had in terms of supporting them and brands. So we just love how you got to this point, right? How you went from there to founding your own company, and would love to hear that story.
Sure. Well, so I knew pretty early on that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I just also, I think, was well aware that I didn't have the confidence or holistic skills to do it. And I had a number of friends and colleagues who were just those whiz kids. I have friends who had multi 6-figure or multi 7-figure businesses that they were running in high school as like juniors and seniors of high school. They just figured it out. I was not that person. I was somebody who needed to learn, needed mentorship, needed, to be educated in the world of business and technology, quite frankly. So, first job out of college, led me to about a 7-year stint, in advertising sales at a kind of Web 1.0, marketing platform called, back in the day, it was called Cool Savings, and eventually rebranded as Q Interactive, and they focused on lead generation and display networks and email networks. And that really taught me kind of the quantitative performance marketing business, but it also got me selling directly into fast growth startups. And I vividly remember selling into companies, that started out as where my first meeting would be at like some crummy office on card tables with like 15 people, and we'd be in business together, and then 2 years later there'd be a bunch of Ferraris outside, and they'd be in these beautiful office spaces that were all branded with signage on the side of the business or building, and it just blew my mind that like a couple smart people could like come up with an idea and all of a sudden, be generating, tons of revenue and tons of value in the marketplace. And I needed to do that. So, my career since then has really been kind of hitching my wagon against other early stage companies, savvy entrepreneurs, typically who had done it before, where there was just something to learn. And I was able to go to work and work hard and help them accomplish their goals of launching and scaling their businesses, and along the way was able to kind of pick up the broader set of skills ranging from management to how you hire and structure teams to how technology evolves, how you build product, how you manage and work with engineering and data science teams. So kind of each step along the way, regardless of what the company was or did, for me, it was like this trade-off of, I'm going to go give you hours. Yes, I need a paycheck to be able to pay the bills, but more, I need to learn. I need you to be willing to answer my questions. I need you to allow me in the room when big decisions are being made. And I would say for many years, I got myself into businesses where or in roles where I was way in over my head, or I felt like I was, and was kind of paddling as fast as I could to try and keep my head just above the waterline. And then I would say probably 12 years ago, when I helped launch Science, which is the tech studio that in Santa Monica that launched about 75 different businesses, including Dollar Shave Club and Dog Vacay and a number of really interesting businesses. That was kind of the first time I think I was in a role, in a position where I was like, okay, I'm well equipped to do this. And that incubator let me play the role of investor, kind of growth leader, mentor, business builder, and I got to do that. I think I was there about 6 or 7 years, and that kind of led me back into the motivation to want to start something from scratch again. This time, be singularly focused on solving one problem, and that's been my path.
Okay, that's cool, man. I love it. I absolutely love it. So let's talk about your company, right? I'm going to hear more about Postie because I think it's intriguing. So I guess with your solution, I get it. So it's basically and correct me if I'm wrong, but it's a platform or a SaaS solution that helps manage direct mail components for either prospecting, customer relationship management, or just retargeting, right? Are those kind of the three buckets? That's what I was doing research for the show.
Yeah, those are the three. The capabilities on the executional side supports the full funnel of marketing, right? DM is one of those unique channels where it's effective in top of funnel acquisition, really big, scalable, effective channel. It's incredibly effective, deeper in the funnel on your retention, your lifetime value building, your customer re-engagement strategies. And then using modern technologies and identity, you can now run programmatic campaigns that include retargeting or daily triggers tied to certain behaviors. The way we think about the business uniquely is it's kind of the channel management solution. And the three buckets that we focus on building software workflow support in is better targeting. So how you can reach the right customers or prospects or site visitors, leveraging very similar modeling and targeting capabilities as you apply to your social campaigns or your programmatic campaigns. Simpler execution. So direct mail, unlike digital, every time you deploy a campaign, there is complex operations, production, and logistics going on, and a lot of kind of marketing teams or brands spend a lot of resources in just the pure management of the production, and our perspective is we don't want you as a marketer to have to think about that at all. We want you to think about marketing, and we'll handle the full execution, and then better measurement as well, cleaner measurement. So direct mail is a measurable channel, and providing technology and automation to ensure cleanliness around data in and data out allows you to know what's going on in your campaigns so that you can better allocate your budgets moving forward to maximize performance from the channel.
Okay, so that makes sense. So number one question is, if it's direct mail, where are you getting how are people getting addresses for their client base then if they don't have them?
Yeah, well, so the last part of the question is if you don't have them, which would be if you're looking at CRM campaigns and you're selling direct to consumer, or you have a loyalty program, chances are the CRM database would be mapped to physical address. But if you're looking at prospecting, just like a digital platform, Posties built a data management platform and has partnered up with the most credible names in direct mail data. Oftentimes, those are the same players that are working in digital as well. Those data solutions carry really predictive data on individuals and households. They typically carry data on upwards of about 260 million individuals at 150 million households. That's kind of the entire addressable market above the age of 18. And we carry that data and make it accessible in a compliant environment so that any advertiser can come in and think about, hey, how do I gain insights on who my existing customers are? How do I build lookalikes from that knowledge base that will help you unlock? And then how do I use these interesting data sets to actually execute campaigns targeting those audience segments that look like my best performers or my highest LTV or recent purchasers. So all that data lives on the Postie servers, and no different than kind of logging in, connecting your database with Trade Desk or DV360 or Facebook or Google, display network. You can integrate with Postie. The difference is that what comes out the back end is a direct mail piece versus a newsfeed ad or a search listing.
Okay, got it. Yeah, I mean, it's a smart partnership, so that totally makes sense. So let's talk about your company. You've obviously had rapid growth. You took that initial funding, and then you haven't needed to since then, which is awesome and very uncommon. What would you say is the number one growth strategy that you deployed to make that a reality?
I mean, look, you know as well as anybody, it's hard to isolate any one thing. There's so much. It's why I now have bags under my eyes, and more gray hair than ever before. It's long hours and hard work and lots of trial and error. Look, the real answer is you build a great product that solves a pain point that a big enough total addressable market has, and you remain authentic to it. And I honestly think that that's the number one thing that we did. We're not building, there's no hacks, it's not smoke and mirrors. We didn't go out like many companies and raise a whole bunch of venture to go build a 50-person sales team out of the gate and throw tens of millions of dollars at storytelling. We built a product first, and we kind of took our time finding those accounts that we thought we were best suited to service, and we worked on servicing those accounts well. And that led us and our sales team to, I think, understand who our ICP, ideal customer profile was at different stages throughout the past 6 years, and therefore be very efficient when we kind of grinded outreach, because for, like I said, for many years it really was, leveraging cadencing software, certainly some of our own direct mail, and a lot of just personalized outreach to potential buyers at companies that we just thought fit really nicely in our ICP. If we did not have a quality product market fit, the ability to deliver on kind of what we were selling, I don't think any sales tactic would work, or it would work very shortly. And we've seen that with a lot of companies who have had to kind of rebuild or brand themselves after onboarding, lots of customers and not actually delivering on the product promise. So I think that's really the truth. With that being said, if we hadn't marketed like we didn't, and we didn't invest in onboarding very talented sales professionals and supporting those sales professionals with, really deep training and insights on the industry, our competition, and the pain point that we were trying to solve from the start, we obviously wouldn't have any customers either. So really, I think an investment in quality hiring in the sales organization, a heavy investment in just sales development, developing them as individuals and thought leaders in the space, was probably the biggest, kind of tactical strategy outside of just having good product market
Okay.
fit.
So I think that makes sense. So, first question is, on the product side, like, what did you do to create an amazing product? Because everybody's like that. You build a great product, right? So, like, how do you take it one step deeper? Was there a certain amount of like direct conversations that you had? Was there, like, since you had the domain and product, or I want to say product, but domain and like functional expertise, it was easy for you to do that? Like, what's your real quick feedback on that?
Yeah, so I think that's super savvy of you to pick up on, and I probably wouldn't have thought about it, but I think you're absolutely right, which is, we did have the DNA and a couple decades of experience building quantitative, marketing technology solutions. So we did not have the direct mail experience, right? And so we had to very aggressively study the industry and understand, why we were dissatisfied with the solutions that existed. So certainly mapping out kind of the discontent, which then opens up kind of how technology could potentially make the channel behave better. Um, and that included deep conversations with the data providers, getting to know and tour lots of print production facilities, understanding how logistics works, kind of moving, big mail campaigns across the country. To learn our way through the U.S. Postal Service, and that's a 600,000 person organization, incredibly well run. Despite some of the jokes that are out there, I mean, it really is a well run organization that's doing some pretty challenging work. And then certainly it was talking to clients or prospect customers, and the advantage that we had is that we had invested in, we had worked for, and just networked, through the kind of who's who of brands that were built on aggressive customer acquisition and performance marketing. So it was easy to talk to 100 prospect customers within a few months and get a sense for, are they feeling the same pain points we're feeling in the digital space? And have they tried DM? What if we did provide them this solution? And very quickly, we were able to kind of map the various components that needed to get built, as well as substantiated or affirmed that the pain that we were feeling, it was consistent across the market. And that gave us the confidence to kind of put our head down and build for a while. We tried to build, for the long term. So we didn't. I'm not a big believer in the lean model. I'm a believer in phasing out your product so that you can learn lessons quickly. But I think the idea of just kind of playing games of ripping out fake landing pages and seeing if people convert and respond and whatnot, like that doesn't really tell the whole story. And so we were committed from the start. It was about what the product was gonna be, not if the product was gonna be, and and um, uh, and then look, the we learned every single day from every single um, customer that we were able to onboard, and I would say easily 2/3 of the features that we built on the platform have come by some organic ask that a client has had, and that's just rinse and repeat. We'll be doing that for a decade.
Okay, so that makes sense, and that's a good formula. Uh, and it sounds like you stacked it. The vertical expertise, if you will, the domain expertise. Then you had all the interviews. Then you had the ongoing with every onboard. So I think that's really sharp. So what's your number one? It sounds like you've grown quite a bit, really fast. And so, what would you say is your single biggest challenge that you're running into with growth right now?
Again, you like asking what's the single biggest, and I have like a list, a mile long of everything that keeps me up at night.
I
And
I gotta ask the hard questions. It's my
no, I
job, man.
know. Um, they're fair. It is fair questions. So I think one of the one of the core challenges that we have is, I think like many businesses, we have our, ICP, again, ideal customer profile, like kind of four quadrant X and Y axis, where we think in terms of, who our product, is built to serve, who it could serve, And there's a broad set of prospect customers. We work, very deeply with, fast growth challenger brands, the digital native direct to consumer brands, whether they're e-commerce or two-sided marketplaces or on-demand businesses. We work with the most mature kind of original digital native sets that are now, some of them have, 10, 20, $50 billion market caps. And then we also work with the enterprise side of the business, all the way up to Fortune, 40 companies. They're each unique in how they're structured. From a sales perspective, the sales cycles are very different. The potential decision, the kind of buying decision processes are different. They each have their own unique set of challenges and complexities. And when you're a young company and you have a product that is very good at servicing a broad set of the market, I think the challenge becomes, how do you efficiently, especially when you're trying to do it like we are profitably, how do you continue to invest across each of those four quadrants from a marketing, sales support perspective to be able to effectively focus potentially on four different types of sales cycles. And I think that's the biggest challenge that we have, because we do have some pretty big aspirations. We think we can be helpful across a really big set of businesses, and we've chosen to build a solution that works for all of them. So kind of, I think, really figuring out kind of the focus, the development, the support that goes into helping our sales team efficiently manage those sales cycles, meet client needs in the sales cycle, because we know we have a product that serves them. So that I would say that's number one challenge.
Is there, of those four buckets that you mentioned, is there one that's like the most difficult to kind of master for the team?
Well, so we think about I mean, our biggest kind of quadrants, and we drill down into each one of them, but it's really simple. It's are they an emerging brand, or where on the spectrum are they from emerging brand to enterprise and maturity? And where is their commitment to direct mail? Are they power users, hundreds of millions of dollars spent in direct mail, or are they've never even seen a stamp before and would have no idea where to begin? The easiest set, I think, is the never done direct mail or very light experience, and they could fall into either the emerging bucket or the enterprise bucket. But in those cases, I think we help demystify and alleviate some of the fear of the unknown and make it really simple and fast to be able to get in market, learn, optimize, and find success. When you get into certainly the bigger the enterprise, the more complex it is, just because there are more stakeholders. And in organizations that have been doing direct mail for a long time, what you sometimes find is that some organizations are very sophisticated. The reality is most of them are, but they're oftentimes managing that channel in a very antiquated way compared to the way they're managing all their digital channels. And so it's a game of educating them on the possibilities. It's helping them understand that helping them believe that there is a platform that helps them with everything from complex data science and targeting and modeling to campaign execution to optimization to logistics and production and to measurement. Because in their world, there might be a 50-person team that's handling all those different things. And a lot of that management's still being done on Excel or PowerPoint and whiteboards. And so the question is how do you get in and learn the pain points that each different stakeholder has, and kind of run a sales process that confidently addresses our ability to meet each of those needs, and solve each of those pain points without coming across as I think anxiety provoking, that there's this new technology that must be so complicated and whatnot. So I would say that bucket, right? The bigger the enterprise is, the more ingrained direct mail is to their current marketing mix. Those become more complicated sales cycles, but those are businesses that we can provide a ton of value to, and so we're really motivated to get better at understanding how to onboard those clients.
Excellent, man. Yeah, that's one of the and with the pandemic as well happening. I think on average the number of buyers involved for like enterprise deals increased by like 4. So there's like 4 more buyers now since the pandemic than it was prior, just because people are less organized in terms of some of their communication because they're not all in the office, right? So that adds credence to that. So we are actually up on time though. And I can keep talking about this for especially enterprise sales, man. That's my jam, for another hour or two. But unfortunately, I know we both got day jobs. So where can people find you? Where can they find out more about Postie? Because like I think there's so many opportunities for what you do and how you do it right now to cut through the noise. I mean, Facebook ads alone, I've read that paid ads, I think it's not just Facebook, but Google's have gone up like 40% over the last year. So,
and we're heading
amazing opportunity for what you're doing. So where can people find you? Where can they find out more about Postie so they could hear about your solution?
Yeah, so our website's a great place to start. We're constantly rolling out more, content and case studies and insights as we learn. So that's Postie, POSTIE.com. If you have questions directly for me or you want to engage directly with me, LinkedIn and LinkedIn Messenger are the kind of that's my go-to platform, easiest way to reach me, and so it's just Dave Fink. We'll get you set up if you're looking for a demo or a conversation with a strategy professional, or if you have just questions for me, feel free to reach out.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks for making yourself available, and I love what you're doing and how you took advantage of it. Just the opportunity of there being white space there. So I'm super excited about it. So thanks for being on the show, Dave, and we look forward to seeing you all on the next episode.